Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. The great silver pandemic of 2020. Let's explore. I think we're going to look back at these times and see them as certainly unprecedented. And there has certainly been a lot going on in the world as of late in the last couple of weeks, and it has gotten more intense as time has gone on. Not only do we have the COVID-19 pandemic spread across the world, but we also have a fever for silver, especially silver. Now, I can't take credit for the silver pandemic. That is from Stacking and Packing. But it inspired me to make this video because it's all tied together in these quite unique times. You know, there's a lot going on in terms of precious metals and the prices that have taken place recently, the big precious metals dips that we've been seeing. But we've seen it all before. We've seen it several times, even since this community has matured here in the social media platforms that we enjoy. But also, we've seen it before when prices go very low, demand skyrockets, and the prices are right behind, and they go up too. Trying to find silver eagles, for instance, has been quite a challenge at any kind of reasonable premiums. But nonetheless, people are still buying, and they are finding it very difficult to source silver. Not only those of us who accumulate the metal, but also dealers around the world are finding it difficult to find not only silver eagles, but other and any silver of any appreciable form at any decent price. But nonetheless, time marches on, and we accumulate when we can. But what happens is everything builds on top of each other, all of these different things. People want silver now. There literally is a fever for silver. Now, gold is affected too. Premiums have gone up on gold as well, but because of gold's more of the availability of gold is a bit more right now in terms of actual product, premiums aren't quite as high as you would find in silver, especially on a percentage basis. And so what's happening here is that as the prices go up, as that separation from the physical market and spot price market, people are scrambling, trying to find silver. Now, silver's big dip was what has precipitated all of this demand. People thought, well, it's a value right now because it's gone down to $12 and even $11 and some odd cents an ounce at times. And so people are looking to try to capture some deals that are out there. And by the way, they are to be had. You just have to do some research. There are several dealers that are being able to provide at times, even if it's trickling out deals from time to time. And by the way, a deal in this case would be anything under $5 an ounce premium. But nonetheless, there's a scramble, and people want the metal now. The thing is the metal's been languishing for so long. Spot price has been not very exciting. The ratio to gold and silver has been widening for quite some time, and it had only gotten below 80 to 1, several maybe months ago. But since it's been climbing ever since. 86 to 1, 87 to 1 was not unheard of and was considered the kind of where things were going. I don't want to say it's the new norm, but certainly anything above 75 would be considered normal in this stagnant market that we've been seeing until this pandemic had occurred, and that actually magnified the issue of demand for silver especially. And it's not just here in the United States, in Britain, and in Europe, and other nations around the world. There is demand for silver. And this is appreciated and been magnified by not only what we had talked about with the spot price going down and people trying to find deals, but with mints, and especially the United States Mint started it when they were behind on producing silver eagles. And so there was been a shortage of silver eagles. Now, make no mistake, I want to make sure I clarify this. It's not a shortage of silver. There's still plenty of silver out there, but it's just a lack of silver product. Silver products is dwindling, and that is because of the increased demand. And so getting it to trade has been very difficult. I know this anecdotally from not only my experience at my local coin shop and perusing the online dealers out there, but also from other experiences that I've heard from you and from other sources out there that silver is in short supply in product in terms of eagles, bars, rounds, even 90%. People are finding it difficult to buy 90%, especially at decent prices. So when we've talked about the high premiums in prior videos, that essentially, what's happening is it's sort of the domino effect. When dealers can't find a good deal on silver, they're having to pay high premiums to source their silver, which in turn means they pass that cost on to you so that they can stay in business and that they can earn a profit. Or in some cases, those profits are razor thin, but they also, in some cases, from what the little research I've done on this, and I think it's going to essentially come to this more and more we're going to hear, but I know of several anecdotal cases where dealers are paying above spot for generic silver and even more for eagles. Silver eagles especially are in high demand right now, and it's understandable. It is the most recognizable form of silver out there, the American silver eagle, and it has been quite a frenzy for these particular coins, and people trying to find them and find them at a decent price has been almost impossible. Even backdated silver eagles, the 2020s are definitely out of stock right now, many different places, but nonetheless, it has been quite a struggle to find them at a decent deal. And then we're seeing also on other social media platforms like Facebook and other places where there are more and more ads popping up for things like silver eagles or silver in general, where you can get them at a great price. Be very, very careful and cautious when you see ads like that pop up, because more than likely there are fakes or there are scams out there. Because of the high demand in silver, there's a high demand for scams that are arising and popping up as well. So you want to avoid that, because that's another kind of infection that you don't need or don't want. And it may not just be you being scammed out of your money, but it could be a potential malicious link that could infect a virus on your computer. So be very cautious out there. Buy from only reputable dealers and people you trust, for sure. And nonetheless, this fever is continuing. And it will continue, I believe, for a while, because not only are we seeing short supplies from the dealers within your respective continents, but because of travel restrictions and the general restrictions that we're seeing that are unprecedented in relation to this pandemic with the COVID-19, we are seeing less supply moving across regular channels overseas and in regular trade. For instance, good luck finding, in many cases, foreign silver, such as recognized foreign bullion, such as Britannia's Queen's B series, Australian, the Perth Mint stuff, any of that new stuff that is coming in and coming out. We're not seeing that circulate right now. You may see product being sold that is already in the hands of dealers, but it's probably very limited at this point. And so you have to take that into consideration, more likely you will pay high premiums for that silver. So this pandemic continues. And the infection of the pandemic is high prices right now for the silver that is sold. What is the solution to this pandemic? Well, number one, you can wait it out. You can wait it out and hope that the spot price for silver remains low, or even if it rises a little bit, perhaps the supply does come in for product. Then you will be able to take advantage of the savings when this premium starts to come back down. Once the engines of commerce restart again. And that would be a smart decision, to wait it out and not buy at these high premium prices. Now, number two is go ahead and pay the premiums and buy other types of silver out there that you can find that is not as quite high demand. It could be generic bars or rounds or what have you, stuff that people tend to overlook, and buy that stuff at somewhat higher premiums because you think that potentially the spot price of silver, the paper spot price and COMEX, will go up, and those premiums will be squeezed out by the paper price. And that is another option as well too, is to buy when you feel like you've got some money. You can find deals out there. Number three is to just not buy at all at this time, and wait it out because you feel that the spot price is going to essentially stay where it is or go lower. And there's a principle thing. You don't want to pay more than the premiums that you're used to paying, and that's understandable too. But keep in mind, there very well could be that spot price will go up dramatically in this new economic environment that we find ourselves in. Because I believe that gold, which has not been hit as hard as silver in terms of the paper spot price, will go up. Gold will go up, and I believe silver will go up as well too in price. And I think that most experts agree that we are been triggered into at least a recession of some sort by all of this. And every single day that goes by that regular commerce can't continue and be implemented, well, we are hurting ourselves economically. There's going to be job numbers that are going to be coming out soon that are going to reflect this, that are going to scare Americans and economists. And we are definitely will be hurting economically pretty hard from this because of essentially most of commerce is being shut down for a great part and for many different aspects and related to the coronavirus. So this is going to be a hurt, which means there's going to be a shift, I believe. And right now, the cash is the safe haven, and that's why we have seen, and then we've seen it before, why people are getting out of precious metals in the COMEX markets. But they don't, probably many of those people that have invested their money in SLV and GLD and the ETFs, most of those people probably have never even touched an ounce of silver or gold. We in this community, we have the physical. We understand that the physical really has the real value, and that's being reflected. The physical price is being reflected as it's moved away from the paper price. It's being reflected not only in what is being sold to us, but what is being bought from us. When you go and sell, and again, this is anecdotal, but I'm seeing this in some other circles, some other places where you go to sell silver, they are giving you more than what above spot price. In many cases, for a generic, I know my LCS is offering well above spot price. Now, it's a spread that is not as narrow as would be in normal commerce, but nonetheless, the demand is coming from the dealers who want your silver, and so they're willing to pay more than spot for it, and even generics. But it would be interesting to see what some of the bigger dealers are doing and what they're offering for people to sell spot. But most people aren't selling at this point. And it would be unwise to sell silver, even if you can get it for $2 over spot, because you're still going to take a hit. you're still going to take a hit. But that is reflection on the new market right now, the new silver pandemic market. Dealers are wanting silver so they can sell it back to you. But nonetheless, we'll see how everything matures out of this present crisis. And this present crisis we will get through it. And I certainly pray for all of those affected, not only in terms of the actual pandemic itself and the COVID-19. I pray that none of my viewers will get the outbreak or the disease. And I also pray for quick economic recovery for those affected by this horrible situation, this tragedy we find ourselves in. All of us are being affected in one way or another. I know I am in my work, and I'm sure you are as well in what you do. And that is first and foremost, and I do believe in holding cash as a reserve, as an ultimate reserve, and I think that is wise in any case. And if you can find silver at a deal that you're comfortable with and what you understand, well, buy it if you can. But there's just as many good reasons not to buy in this environment as there is to buy in this environment. But one thing I would encourage all of my viewers to do for the silver that you do have, do not be discouraged by that paper price. Hold on to your silver. Do not sell it, especially if a dealer is not willing to offer you a fair price above the paper spot price for it. But if you do need to sell, if there's an emergency reason why you need to sell your silver, do a lot of digging and research and find a dealer who will give you over spot price. Do not take spot price for your silver, because I guarantee you will be able to find a dealer with this present crisis now, especially considering that supplies are being squeezed with major mints like the Royal Canadian Mint I talked about that is going to be suspending operations for a couple of weeks. Other dealers are being shut down like bullion exchanges and others because of state mandates that all non-essential businesses must close down. We may see more of that in other states and other places where some of these dealers operate. And so that is key. And during this silver pandemic, supplies are being squeezed, and the prices will go up. If not the spot price, the premiums will continue to rise. And so just take that into account. Again, I can't emphasize enough to do your own research through this time. And if you can, if there's a chance that you will be able to get by without selling your silver, I would encourage you not to sell your silver, even if you don't buy. And if you do have to sell, to do that due diligence and research and find places and people who will give you over spot price for it, because it's worth it in this new market, that's for sure. And so there it is. And watch out if you're looking for deals out there on silver, especially in some social media platforms like Facebook. There are scams going out. Watch out for those. So there you have it. I hope you found this video useful. I'd like to encourage you to stay safe and stay healthy, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe, and a multitude of gratitude to you all.